Hello and welcome to Someone Who Doesn't Read Comics. I'm Becca.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Brian, and my awful senses are tingling. We must be reading Spider-Man Maximum Carnage, or it might just be that Watchmen's still sitting on the shelf over there.
Oh my god, I hate you.
Or we're not reading Spider-Man Maximum Carnage. You may never know. No, we are actually reading Spider-Man Maximum Carnage.
Oh,
that's our book this week.
That's why I'm holding it, okay.
That's why Paul read this book this week.
I did. I was gonna be like, oh man,
Surprise! It's something else!
See, that would suck, because I prepped for this one. So if
well.
you guys pulled a switcheroo, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Guess I'll try and summarize the plot to this book I've never read.
Well, as usual, we are people who haven't read comics, and we will be reading and reviewing a comic, Spider-Man Maximum Carnage, done by Marvel, if you didn't know. As usual, the podcast will go story, art, and then spoilers. We will mark spoiler section very heavily with our voices saying spoilers over and over again. And, yeah, story and art will contain no spoilers, hopefully. So, on to the story.
Okay. So, Spider-Man Maximum Carnage. The story begins with the introduction to our main antagonist for the piece, Cletus Cassidy, who was formerly known as the villain Carnage when he was apparently bonded with a piece of venom symbiote alien goo.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Also, a Weird Al Yankovic fan.
Yes, there's a Weird Al Yankovic joke on the first page.
On the first page.
On the very first page. It set the bar pretty high for the rest of it, though. Real funny, Cassidy. You're a regular Weird Al Yankovic. With an emphasis on the weird. Oh! That guard. Oh, I don't think he has a name.
I don't think. Oh, no.
Oh, no, Officer Resnick. Officer
okay.
Resnick has one of the best one-liners.
Makes it like 3 pages
Yeah, yeah. I would say spoiler alert, except on the next page, it turns out that Cletus Cassidy, the serial killer, kills a lot of people.
Yay.
Because the symbiote, even though it's removed from his body, has somehow mutated his blood or something. So now whenever he bleeds, he can form like a symbiote-style suit, which makes bloody murder weapons, which I'm going to be honest, looking at we'll discuss this more in art, I was confused as to, like, can he have that much blood in his body without, like, passing out?
Yeah.
I mean...
Like, is it his only blood? Does he have blood and the symbiote? What?
I wasn't sure.
I don't know.
See, I was always, I'm going to be honest, I didn't know much about Carnage before starting this. And I assumed that it was, like, because he looks like Venom, I'm like, oh, he's got an alien thingy.
I still don't know much about Carnage after reading this.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so, picking back up with the spoiler of the poor Officer Resnick dying on page 3. Oh, did he make it to page 3? No. No.
Yeah,
Page 3. Page 3. So basically, then, like much of the rest of the story, Carnage decides, I'm gonna go murder a bunch of people. So, Carnage proceeds to go throughout this mental facility and start murdering a bunch of people. Meanwhile, elsewhere in New York, Peter Parker is attending, I don't know if this is a spoiler, this is a spoiler from another book. Peter is attending the funeral of his friend Harry Osborn, who, apparently had taken up the mantle of the Green Goblin at some point. And so at the funeral, in attendance, there's so many people just kind of scattered through here that, there's Black Cat, who's, Felicia Hardy, was also in attendance at the funeral. J. Jonah Jameson, Mary Jane, and the Molten Man, which I
don't know what his power is either.
Yeah, I think it's just...
Although he is the
Maybe
most
being
well-dressed person in this entire comic constantly.
Right, which, I mean, it's impressive, especially since by his name, I don't know like anything about him, but I assumed by his name he would be burning everything.
I assume. I don't know. He looks like Colossus.
Yes.
Is the best description.
He's like a gold colossus.
But in no way does he molt or put anything on fire at all during this comic. Spoiler.
I was going to say, kind of a disappointment, to be honest with you. Probably would have been a lot more fun. But anyway, so Peter's lamenting about, balancing, his life as Peter, like he usually does, balancing his life as Spider-Man and his life as Peter Parker, especially now that he and Mary Jane are together. But that's interrupted because then we're back to pages of Carnage killing people. However, while he's going slicing and dicing a whole bunch of guards, he happens to hear a woman laughing and cheering him on from behind one of the cells. Turns out it is a woman named Shriek, who convinces Carnage to let her out and join him on his murderous rampage of just murder and destruction. So, while Carnage and Shriek start heading out, and they kind of have this kind of couple in love thing going on while massacring innocents, Peter and Mary Jane aren't having quite the same positive romantic. That's the best word. They're having some relationship issues based on the fact that Mary Jane thinks that Peter's risking his life as Spider-Man, and that he should take some time off, especially to mourn Harry. And it's causing her to get stressed and smoke, which I guess this could be a good PSA moment. Don't smoke. It's bad for you. Although, pretty much the number of people that die in this comic, they probably could smoke and it wouldn't really matter. But, they don't tell you that in the PSAs.
I mean, if you were somehow attached to a alien symbiote suit, or have spider-type powers, or cat-type powers, or sound-type powers, if you have some powers of some sort, smoke. Chances are you won't live all that long anyway, so you know.
I want to make that some sort of, like, just inspirational poster with you, just saying, hey, if you got some powers, smoke. Do what you want to do. With great power comes the freedom to do whatever the heck you want.
Yeah.
Lung cancer be damned. Alright. Anyway, on that note, we are then we go back to Carnage and Shriek murdering people, but we are abruptly introduced to a spider doppelganger who I don't know. I have no idea. They just casually go, oh, that's that alien who imitates Spider-Man and has barbed wire webbing and murders people.
6 arms and sharp teeth
just
and multiple eyes. And yeah, he's just running around doing whatever.
How long is he still
attacking
there?
People.
I mean, I'm assuming based on the writing that the previous story was, the Harry Osborn arc. So has this guy just been wandering around an entire, like...
That sounds about right.
All right.
Also just allows women with white makeup and black hair to make him her pet. Like, I don't know what... She's just like, stop fighting. He's like, oh, I guess I will. Okay.
Yeah,
sounds
low
good. You're gonna pet my head? Sounds great. Like, okay, whatever.
To be fair, I think if someone offered to pet my head, I would stop being an angry, crazy, 6-armed spider.
I'm gonna hold you to that sometime.
One day.
One day when this happens, you're like, I'm such an angry 6-armed spider thing. I'm like, Brian, let me pet your head. And everything will apparently be better. And if you murder me after that point as a giant 6-armed spider thing, I will be very upset. I will haunt you for breaking your prompt. Okay. So, this is where we learn, that Shriek's power is she can emit sonic beams from her hands.
Or is that her power?
Her voice.
Yeah, which I'm gonna talk about that later. But yeah, so Shriek with the sound effect shee, and almost ellipse, kind of breaks them up and is like, hey, we should adopt this spider thing. You're okay with that, right? Spider thing, and the spider thing's like, grr, because it doesn't really say anything. Again, I'm not sure how this thing is surviving in New York City. But yeah, so anyway, now the 3 of them have teamed up and they're gonna go cause some carnage. See what I did there? That was, oh, wow.
Yay.
Okay, fine, we'll move on. So while going to pick up Chinese food to try and make things up to Mary Jane, be like, look, I'm gonna lay off being Spider-Man for a while. It'll be fine. Peter goes to pick up Chinese food and hears on the news that Carnage is back. And so, knowing that Carnage likes to murder people, springs into action to try and track them down. And track them down he does, except that he's overpowered by Shriek, the spider doppelganger, and then Carnage comes in a little bit later. He gets completely overwhelmed. So, not looking too well for Spider-Man, who then has to retreat after they get away. Meanwhile, I think we got here going on. Spider-Man is badly wounded by the fight. There's some panels of Mary Jane saying, he's sure taking a long time. I bet he's being Spider-Man again. That guy can't keep a promise. Which, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but that's kind of what she says.
Most of the book.
That is her, the entire series there.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I told him to take a break. I don't care that there's a murderous villain on the loose.
But I
told him to take a break. I love him. Where is he?
I told him to take a break. I'm angry. Drawn by a different artist with different words, but still angry. I miss him. Okay, I could do that for a while, so I'm gonna stop. Basically, so now Spider-Man.
We might have to. We have to tell the spoiler section later.
That's true. Oh, we'll pick it up again. That was the non-spoiler part of her arc. Stay tuned for the thrilling conclusion. So now you got Spider-Man in a back alley, bruised and beaten because the web doppelganger is way too strong, and Shriek is shooting beams from her hands, and Carnage is, super powerful. But he is saved from a group of, I guess, thugs. Just
Street thugs.
Street thugs, one of which looks like Geordie LaForge from Star Trek. Which
he does have those glasses.
Yeah, which I thought was cool. But he's saved not by Geordie LaForge, but by, that'd be an interesting crossover, Cloak and Dagger, who are back, because Cloak we were introduced to before back in, the
Infinity
Gauntlet. So it's like, oh, I know him, and this is Dagger, who disappeared before. So that's cool.
Thanos
So it's cool
her.
that we actually get to see her do her stuff.
Yeah, which apparently is shoot light beams at people. I'm not sure where that goes in with knives.
I don't know either.
Maybe she just stares daggers at them.
I feel like it kind of makes sense, because Cloak's power is darkness, so hers is light, but then I feel like somebody was like, oh, well, his name's Cloak, and they're like, what's her name? Dagger. It's like, that doesn't make sense. Well, it does if you say them together, Cloak and Dagger. It's like, oh, that's funny, but she doesn't use daggers. Like, what?
I mean, her earrings are kind of pointy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she makes, like, light daggers. You could, I don't know. You could say, but she is very useful, I will.
Yeah, I mean, they're a cool team. I really liked, they were like one of the highlights of the book. They're pretty cool. So they save Spider-Man, after, apparently Cloak can suck people into his cloak, not just for transportation, but to, like,
torment them.
Yeah, which is like, whoa.
What's he calls it, like, the Ebon Darkness or something like that?
The icy depths of my Ebon Void.
Ebon Void, there we go. That was I don't know.
That's a good band name.
Yeah.
The laugh. Ebon Void. Alright.
Also sounds like he's talking about his butt.
Okay. That was Alright. Anyway, oh god.
So basically, they save him.
Yeah.
Save Spider-Man's.
And it all, and they transport away in Cloak, and his Ebon Void of transportation, to a church, actually, where while they're resting up and discussing the fact that Carnage is on the loose, Carnage comes breaking in, although he's led by the doppelganger Spider, and they have this, so it's basically, you got the basic team up, you have Cloak, Dagger, and Spider-Man, versus Shriek, Carnage, and the Doppelganger in this massive 3-on-3 brawl, which goes on for quite a while. We got, because the symbiote I think the symbiote is weak to sound, but Carnage isn't. I don't know all the ways that entirely play out. But anyway, so it's this really intense fight. Carnage gets punched in the face by Spider-Man a couple times, which I thought was, I only comment on that scene specifically because it made me laugh, because this might be an art section thing, but his spine should be broken on the pose there.
Spines are a thing that must not exist in the Spider-Man universe for multiple reasons.
Although it's funny.
We'll talk about that in art.
Yeah, right.
It's one of those, I guess I don't want to go into too much detail, because then, I wish I could be more specific, but a lot of this is just them fighting and screaming things at each other.
Yeah. They talk a lot for people who are fighting.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I get it's a comic, but still, there's a lot of full-on dialogue.
Banter.
Yeah. And really bad jokes. Like, they're not.
Oh, I can't wait to get to those later.
Yeah, I guess it's the first issue.
It's only, I think, issue maybe 2.
Yeah, that is the end of...
Yeah, so it's like issue 2. So this is in issue 2. I was discussing whether or not to leave this out as a spoiler, but ultimately, during the conflict, while trying to protect Cloak and Spider-Man, Dagger gets blasted by Shriek, causing her to, like, in the words of the comics, shoom into light.
Basically exploding.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah, it just kind of blows up. And Carnage gets mad at Shriek because he's the only one who wants to kill Spider-Man. And she almost did. So they have I guess, as they would refer to it, some sort of marital spat. And then they leave with their quote-unquote mutant 6-armed doppelganger spider son. There's a lot, that's something I will mention. There's a lot of weird family talk between them, like that. They really, it's not like a motif. They really get into it, and it continues for a while in the dialogue.
Too much.
Yeah. But again, we'll focus on that later.
Uncomfortably.
Yeah, but not even in a good way. Like, it reminds me almost of like a Joker Harley Quinn kind of thing, if none of the charm was there for either of them, really.
I feel like it's just mostly there for a joke, so that for some odd reason Carnage can be crazy and call everybody else in the group children.
Yeah,
His children.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not a worthy of like what 14 issue 12. I think it's 14.
14 issues.
14 issue. It's not a 14 issue worthy joke. But anyway, I digress. So of course, obviously, Cloak is upset because Dagger was, not only his partner, but like they kind of use each other to survive and travel. Apparently,
I think they mentioned at some point that they're lovers too.
Okay, they might. I didn't want to make that. I didn't remember that.
Yeah,
I didn't
no,
want to jump to the conclusion. But yeah, so it's basically.
It stinks.
Yeah, it's
She must
just.
enjoy the cold depths of his ebon void.
Anyway, all right, we're more mature than that, Brian.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
No,
Don't lie.
we are mature enough for one of those, and that is it.
We already made it.
We made our Ebon Void joke, and that is it. We are done. No more Ebon Void jokes for you, sir.
There will be at least 2 more. Give me a minute.
Okay. I wanted to say that's what she said, but no. Anyway, all right. Because that would just been lowbrow. We are above this.
Highbrow comedy.
Highbrow comedy here.
And comic reviewing. Mostly comic reviewing.
Oh, look at that. There you go. Highbrow comic reviews. That should be our tagline.
Yeah.
As someone who doesn't read comics. Highbrow comic reviews. Only one Ebon Void joke an episode. All right. Here we go. So then the issue ends with now Spider-Man and Cloak have got to figure out what they're going to do because they can't let Carnage on the loose. But we're introduced to the potential of an unlikely savior when Venom just emerges from the sewer. There's a lot of that.
In Los Angeles.
Yeah, which I don't know why.
Yeah, there's at least 2 sewer immersions in this book, if I remember correctly.
There is at least 2.
Yeah. And Venom just, he hears about Carnage being on the loose, and apparently Spider-Man had teamed up with Venom before to take down Carnage because Carnage was stronger and faster, apparently. Apparently, mixing your blood with an alien symbiote is better than a superpowered individual, and the alien symbiote that spawned it. I don't know the details of that. I'm gonna chalk that one up to science and move on.
Don't you sully the name of science.
This is. Are you kidding me? The entire thing is science. This is comic science. This is the most interesting science there is. Anyway, I promise it'll be the last off-track thing. I can't promise that. But anyway, so Venom emerges from the sewer, taking down a bunch of thugs, because apparently he's a hero.
In Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles. In New York, he's a villain, but he really likes that California sun. It works for him.
I guess he gets along in the different lifestyle out there. It's kind of weird. I guess they're more accepting of a man who just murders people.
I guess, but not in New York, which Venom understands, which is why he travels to New York in an effort to join up with Spider-Man once again to track down Carnage. And I can't. That's really, and that's the basic setup for the first couple issues. Is that Spider-Man gets a group of people together. You got Cloak. Later on, he's going to join up with Venom's on the way to help out, while Carnage is getting his little posse together, including Shriek and the Spider Doppelganger,
just murdering people.
And his end game is murder, which he plans to accomplish through murder. And the heroes have to try and decide whether they need to stop him through murder. The word murder gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's then, so to find out which side emerges victorious, you'll, have to wait till the spoiler section or, pick it up yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, a little bit shorter than our normal story, section, but, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Carnage wants to murder people.
And Spider-Man says, hey, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's the story.
That's the basic plot gist there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no. This story is a bit more interesting than some of the other ones because it traverses over multiple Spider-Man issues. There was multiple Spider-Man stories, so like the first issue of the story is Spider-Man Unlimited, whereas the next one is Web of Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man, and Spectacular Spider-Man are the other issues that then go into. So apparently there was a lot of Spider-Man issues in the 90s when this came out. Therefore, also, it changes writers and it changes artists every issue. Obviously, if Web of Spider-Man comes back up, it's the same writer and artist, but it changes a lot. The writer for the first, okay, so there's a lot of writers. There's 5 writers.
I'm
It's
excited.
a lot of writers.
I'm excited to hear you say their names. This is one of my favorite
Yeah, this
parts.
is exciting.
All right.
I looked at these names, I was like, no, I'm gonna do this.
All right.
The first guy is Tom DeFalco. He has Falco in his name, so it was really easy to pronounce. It's good. Next guy is Terry Cavanaugh, which I know how to pronounce that because there's an actor named Cavanaugh. This next one's a little weird. It's David Michelini. It's like Michelle and Eni at the end. He apparently, actually funny enough, he does Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man. And then Spectacular Spider-Man is done by J.M. DeMatteis. Yes. So those are the writers, and then there'll be 5 artists, so there'll be more names for me to mispronounce.
Yeah!
Excellent.
In the beginning. But yeah, so
Did
yeah.
a good job so far.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah,
much
yeah,
better than normal.
yeah.
It's good.
There's fairly good names to pronounce.
Yeah. I guess my one comment about the story, I did make a joke about Shriek and Carnage not being overly dynamic characters, but I enjoyed Shriek as a character more than I thought I was going to. Like, I thought she was interesting as considering I know nothing about her, she just shows up in a cell, and I'm like, oh.
Well, nobody else knew anything about her, because Spider-Man's like, I never beat you. Like, I didn't put you in that prison.
Where,
what do you do?
How did you show up there?
Which is great, because she has, like, every power under the sun, apparently, at some point. It's just
Yeah,
like,
that's true. Yeah, there's a little bit of...
some of her powers pop up out of nowhere, and you're just like, you can do that, but then Spider-Man's like, you can do that. Like, so you're like, oh, okay, at least I'm not as lost as Spider-Man. So.
If Spider-Man's confused, I feel comfortable being confused, because he's a scientist.
I like, she's a line in the beginning, when, Carnage is killing people. He's in the prison, he's killing people, and then she's like, oh yeah, that's cool, kill people. And, like, he goes to set her out. And she says, 2 people can kill as cheaply as 1. What does that mean? What in the world, in the world does that mean?
But the setup's the best. Besides, haven't you heard that 2 can kill as cheaply as 1?
Like it's a phrase that people say? Yeah. What does that mean?
I was alive in the 90s. Granted, I was young, but do people say that in the 90s? Was
Maybe. I think we should bring that phrase back.
Yeah. Hey. That'll be donut and a coffee. That'll be $3.97. Yeah, thank you. By the way, 2 can kill as cheaply as 1. What? I don't know. Okay, I'm glad you brought. Yeah.
I read it and I was like, what? And then he's like, no, that's sound logic. I'll let you go. Like, I'm like, what? What is?
Yeah, I don't.
What is? One of your powers persuasion for saying stupid phrases? Like, what is this?
Yeah, she also looks like a someone who's trying to cosplay Kiss, but
Very much so.
That's the. That was my other thing. Okay.
I think my favorite early quote was Carnage going, "A faint heart never won anything except a dull and boring life." That was pretty.
You went legitimately profound.
Sense.
Yeah, that was like,
actually a good.
I like that.
I feel like that might be a
good.
saying somewhere.
I kind of want to. We do quotes at work, and I kind of want to submit that and just be like anonymous, maybe? Question mark.
We just don't write.
Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah, come on, that's
the great philosopher.
Which, yeah, that line's really out of place considering other dialogue he has, which is all puns.
Yeah, no, it's really
or you
awful,
could say,
and that's his one, like...
You could say Terry Cavanaugh, I think he's the writer for that portion of the book. That too.
Yeah.
He's a writer. He actually has a profession, other than serial murderer cartoon.
Yes.
Comic book character.
Yeah, I don't know if that's good
is
on
that
the resume.
an option?
Serial...
Cartoon serial killer.
That makes you seem like...
You serially kill cartoons,
like...
or are you a cartoon that serial kills?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It sounds like what many networks do anyway. But it's more of a sad joke. Anyway. All right.
I was so, I wrote down in my notes, and I was like, Cloak and Dagger's here! That's awesome! We get to know about, oh wait, no, Dagger's gone. So I was like, yes, we get to learn about them. I didn't get to learn about them in Infinity Gauntlet. Oh wait, nope.
Not again.
I get to learn more about Cloak again.
Which, is Dagger just always dead?
I don't
That's
know.
my question.
I mean, I feel like...
I feel bad because she does kick-ass stuff to begin with.
Yeah, she has
Well,
like
that's
a
why
light
she has to
shield.
die every 30 seconds, because otherwise this would be too easy.
But
Too
Cloak
easy.
teleports and can suck people into his ebb and void. Like,
Which she doesn't do very successfully
No.
for the rest of the book.
Nobody
No
can
one
get
else-
caught in his
That's
Evan
terrible.
void.
Just LaForge and his crew.
That's it.
Damn it! There goes the engineering sector.
Yeah. Into the Evan void you go. Like,
Who
there's
else is going to man the particle deflectors?
Whoa. You jumped ship where I can't follow you.
I like
Maybe I used the warp drive. Jump ship.
Yeah.
I like break out into like TNG theme songs. Da, 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 da. Sorry. Okay. No. Okay.
No, it's done now.
That was it.
That's
No.
That's all you get.
Yeah,
No.
that's otherwise we're sort of paying people royalties and I don't know what I've spent all my money on comic books apparently now. So this is what I do with my life now. So
Oh.
yeah, so it would have been nice to have learned more about Dagger.
It would have been nice, but whatever. I guess you don't. Also, quick shout out to Dr. Pornella. Her name was interesting. It's the word poor and Nella as in a, like, whatever. I was like, that's a weird
And then
name.
she gets stabbed, doesn't she?
She dies.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Within 2 seconds. She also has a really rad haircut.
Yeah.
She's got like a super mullet.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I didn't notice the mullety front. Yeah.
And her name is Pornella. Like, what kind of name is
Pornella.
that? Sorry. Out of all of the names, because I forget what the guard's name is. It was like Resnick or something.
Yeah, Resnick. Oh,
Like, that's normal. Pornella.
that's the yeah. I guess-
Along with that 90s quote. The Weird Al Yankovic. Like, wow, that ages you slightly. That is...
An emphasis on the weird. It's like sick burn on that serial killer there,
Way
Resnick.
to go, Resnick.
Way to go. The man's hands are bound, he's tied to a stretcher, and you're wheeling him around, and you're going to
With
insult
like 4
him too.
other cards.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. I love that's what we've chosen to focus on about the story thus far. But yeah.
I also love Carnage at some point breaks into Jameson's office. There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
That's the word for it. I
Yeah.
just love that like the secretary's like, "Oh, we're gonna put protection on you because Carnage might come after you again." And he's like, "Bah, whatever. I'm gonna go Paris." He goes into his room. Like Carnage is there. It's like, your protection sucks. Like, wow, that's like the one place you should have really protected his office.
or not gone into.
Yeah, I know. Like,
What? A serial killer with superpowers is trying to kill me? Let me go into my highly publicized office.
was Carnage just gonna wait there? What happened if Jameson was just like, "No, I'm gonna go to Paris. See you guys later. I'm not even going to my office. I'm just going to Paris. See you guys later." Would Carnage have sat there forever?
I feel like that would have ended the story. It would have been great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Jameson would have been a hero.
things would have continued. He would have just continued murdering people.
No,
but
he would have waited for Jameson.
for at least a little while, yeah.
Ever. No, I don't know.
Yeah. But, yeah, and my last comment I already made before, which is, where was that spider doppelganger just in New York?
I know. He literally comes out of nowhere because like Carnage and what's her face are like, "What's that over there?" Oh, it looks like Spider-Man because he wears a Spider-Man costume.
Oh, wait.
He's
And then,
not.
well, then my favorite part is, whoa, that's not Spider-Man. It is. Oh yeah, then Carnage just goes, "Oh, I know what that is. I heard some rumors about a pack of evil duplicates from outer space." Like, oh, okay, that just gets around the loony bin, I guess.
Yeah, there was another point when, like, at some point later in the book, and they mentioned, Shriek says it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I heard about him on the news." I'm like, do they feed you news? Do they feed you news about psycho killers? Because I feel like in an insane asylum, that's not the thing you want to do and tell serial killers about all the serial killings that are happening in the city.
That's generally regarded as a bad idea.
Well, you have to say,
Like, wow.
Dr. Pornella was a fan of radical, sometimes controversial treatment. She and her mullet had to go to many board meetings to get this all approved. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, wow, you heard about a lot of things in the loony bin. I don't know how you did that, but congrats on you.
Yeah. All right.
Also, just like a subtle little thing. I like, towards like the end of where we've talked about here, Eddie Brock, who's Venom, just decides he wants to crash on Spider-Man's couch. Anybody else want to question that?
Well, that's later. That's much later. You're
he
getting
hates
into the
Spider-Man.
spoiler section, yo, dude.
Yeah, we don't know that Venom and Peter Parker.
You don't even know if they team up. Jeez, dude.
I mean, I heavily
Spoiling
heavily
things.
implied, but
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
mean, also, although now I want to see an Odd Couple kind of show where it's like Venom, Spider-Man. Do you know that all going on? It's like one of them has a day job, at the press, with spider powers. The other murders people.
Can they get along?
Wacky! I don't know. That's just,
Yeah, that's kind of the book that we get here.
I was trying to picture some sort of theme song credit sequence, and no, I'd give it like 3 episodes before it got canceled.
I think it's just journeys separate ways.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So story?
I touched on the story stuff. I felt relevant.
Yes, well, at least for that part.
Yes.
The rest
Yeah.
of it has so many things. But, yeah, so art section. Like we mentioned, there's like a million artists that I will mention the names of now. So, Spider-Man Unlimited is Ron Lim. Web of Spider-Man is Alex Saviuk. It's Saviuk. Saviuk. Speaking of which, I had to read like multiple of his name because the U looked like an L and an I to begin with, and then it wasn't in the next one, and then it kind of looked like both in the next one. I was like, never mind. Web of Spider-Man has weird text. Amazing Spider-Man has Mark Bagley. Spider-Man has Tom Lyle. And Spectacular Spider-Man has Sal Buscema. This is a nice name. I like that.
Sal Buscema.
I really hope one of these artists or authors hears you butchering their name one of these days.
Oh, no.
And they'll be like, I don't know.
Unfollow.
I'm never listening to the podcast again.
Except I'm gonna, because they're still talking about my book.
I'm gonna see if they have good things to say about my art style. Or my writing. Because I say writer's names.
That's
Spoilers, if you're the guy in Amazing Spider-Man, we don't have good things to say about your art.
Mark Bagley, I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry.
Wait, all right.
But that's the 3rd issue, so I don't know if do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, because we can talk about,
I feel like we talk about it without getting into, because there's the same characters are there, and the character I want to complain about is Mary Jane.
Yeah,
she's there.
Let's start the art section off with some Mary Jane, then.
Well, because she starts out, they're women in comic books, so they're not in any way the actual shape that women come in. Of course, you could argue that Venom is in no way the shape that men come in, but in Amazing Spider-Man, the 3rd issue, she seriously loses all organs in her body. I have no idea how she's so thin.
Her spine is not...
And her spine, bends at 90-degree angles at weird... oh my god, they just, for some odd reason, all of the women lose all of their organs out of their body. They're so small, I don't know how you would fit guts or lungs or anything in there.
They've all migrated to their butts and their chest.
Yes, probably. That would be the only explainable way for it to happen.
And in Mary Jane's case, her hair, which gets super large.
Yeah, her hair rivals Carnage's tendrils going on there.
Oh my god.
So,
although I'm not
looks like she should be the lead singer for Whitesnake.
I don't know if her hair just stayed the same and she got incredibly thin.
They do say.
They get pretty small. But no, the rest of the art I can't say I can complain anything about. There are some, oh god, what was the one we were complaining about?
There's
what was the one we complained about?
Yes.
There's Cloak's face on this. There's a panel, I think it's the same issue. Is that it? Yeah, same issue. Man, I'm so sorry. Who is this?
Mark Bagley.
Mark Bagley, I'm so sorry.
I am not. Your art is awful.
There was another one where the people's face, I think it was, Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yes, it was, yep.
I'm not, I like the faces, because the faces are blockier, but everybody's face is blockier, but then it's got some weird emotions and it makes for some weird faces.
Screaming becomes very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a little distracting. Otherwise, everything else looked kind of cool.
What's funnier is that,
Aunt May was her face was a little long, but...
yeah.
But...
I want to talk about this scene.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Once again, not a visual podcast, but I'm pointing at things going, I want to talk about this. Gotta remember to talk about this.
But yeah, no, past those 2 things, which it stinks because Amazing Spider-Man, the one that has the horrific art style, pops up 3 times, along with everything else. But, other than that, all the other art's really good. I will say personally for, Spider-Man Unlimited, I liked, I don't know if it's between the writing or the art, but, I feel like the action was done really well, and a lot of the, obviously Spider-Man's swinging all the time and doing all this other stuff. I feel like in Unlimited, especially the first time he gets in the Spider-Man suit and jumps off a building, Like, he does a flip and then spins into it.
Yeah.
But, like, even the motion, like, the stance that he takes, I don't know, to swing, makes it feel like he's swinging. It's a very good, like, he does very good with action.
Yeah, it's a good, yeah.
Yeah, I liked the Spider-Man Unlimited particularly, but everybody else didn't do terrible. I liked, they did pretty good.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna echo that entire sentiment. That whole Spider-Man Unlimited book, that whole first book, between the writing and the art, is probably the most put together of this entire compilation. That art is really, really well done. Everything feels very fluid. Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, there's a couple, Again, there's a couple issues, but yeah,
well, for Spider-Man Unlimited, it only did the first issue and the last issue. So, but, everything else, there's nothing I can complain about.
No, my only other thing is randomly, Black Cat. Her costume's always revealing, but I don't know, how is this, and this is not the artist's fault, this is just a character design because it's all drawn the same way. Her costume takes like that cleavage window in comics and is like, you know what would be awesome? If the cleavage window went all the way to the belly button.
It's like, let me take a V-neck and then I'll just cut it.
Yeah.
And keep cutting until my navel is shown.
Until I legally can. And
it's a different length in each of the different art comics.
Yeah, because I feel like not even so much that it's a different length. I feel like some of the artists show off the cut more than others do. I don't, like, it's so weird, like, how, like it's more prominent in some of the art styles than others. I mean, like, like Amazing Spider-Man, her waist is nothing, so the cut looks bigger because she literally has no body to put on the costume.
Yeah, I don't know how it stays on, I'm gonna be honest.
Like, yeah, no, I don't, it doesn't make any sense. Literally, there is no reason that stays on at all. Like, at least Shriek's costume isn't bad. It's literally a one piece. Isn't it?
It's just one piece. It's got a low cut V thing, but that's like standard.
Yeah, it's still cut kind of the navel, but like, I don't know.
It's not as emphasized.
Black Cat, cause hers actually like V's, like Black Cat somehow just like goes straight down and then ends at some point. Like it's very wide, is
like,
my point.
There is some form of adhesive that's required.
On possibly painful areas. Cause
otherwise, that ain't staying on. Like,
let me just apply the super glue on my seam. like what?
Black Cat, we gotta go, Felicia, we gotta go. Yeah, hold on, I need to finish. But
can't you just put on a jacket? Come on, we gotta go.
No,
maybe if you like had a shirt, t-shirt that works. There's I Love New York shirts everywhere. Just grab one.
Hot Topic sells shirts with cats' faces on it. It's gonna fit the cat theme. Go, done.
I need that now.
It's so weird because Catwoman, I recognize and I'm like, okay, she has a lot of cats. Like, it's like, oh, okay. For some odd reason, I didn't, like, connect that dot where it was Black Cat had cats. Cause then you go into her room and she's got, like, fucking cats. She doesn't have, like, I don't think she had any pet cats.
No.
But she had, like, the cat clock with the spin and the wagging tail and a cat this and a cat that and a lion something and
She's
this.
the modern cat lady.
But it was just, it was so, like, I didn't connect the dots there. I don't know. And it was just like, oh, I get it. She's Black Cat. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's the cat motif.
I don't get that. Like, why should Spider-Man just have spider things all over his house? Should Vulture just have Vulture things all over his house? Like,
although I have to admit, I want to see how many Vulture things there are. Like, and this is welcome. You've discovered my secret Vulture lair. Here is my stuffed Vulture. My Vulture clock. Back over there is my stuffed vulture. Like, I don't know how many vulture-related things, because, like, as a symbol of death, do they sell a lot of vulture? Like, you don't have a lot of plush vultures lying around. Like, who's an adorable carrion feeder? You are! Like, or he has, like, 2 pet vultures. Like, there's no way.
I don't know.
Okay. Sorry, really off
Yeah,
topic.
no, I get
Yeah, I don't.
Also, I mentioned this before, I like, yet again, different art styles. I like how some of the artists, cause Carnage is basically like red and black just swimming on him cause the symbiote costume's constantly moving. And I like how some of the artists take it very seriously and they make the lines kind of make sense and everything makes sense, especially with like muscle structure and stuff. And then some of them just seem to kind of have a red background and like squiggle black in it. Like they're just like blap 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 done.
Looking at you, Amazing Spider-Man.
Although I'm gonna be honest with you,
I can't remember which one it was.
I don't. But if you said here, color this guy in by the like 20th time, I'd totally just be like, done. He's not.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of detail, I will say, even all the art, the tendrils always look interesting. They're always doing cool things, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the color in this one. I mean, I know Spider-Man's not supposed to be a particularly dark comic or anything like that, but I did like all this book is very colorful. Obviously, Spider-Man's obviously blue and red, and Venom's black and whatever, and then reds and stuff. But even like the backgrounds, like something like there was a page ago or something like where the background wasn't important, so they made the background like completely pink, which was cool. Like it's nice and keeps up with the colors and everything. I like it.
It's very, very bright.
On par with Infinity Gauntlet, probably.
Yeah. Which
Although
makes sense.
yet again, no orange pants, but
yeah, I was gonna say that the bar for gaudy, bright costumes got set really high with Adam Warlock. Alright, if we ever do some sort of like an award show, I want there to be an Adam Warlock award for like the most gaudy costume.
That's not Adam Warlock.
That's not Adam Warlock. Well, because he so far is winning, and I feel like it wouldn't be fair.
Can't just hand it to him every year.
You know, after a while, people get suspicious, and they start wondering why they even bother tuning in, and Neil Patrick Harris has to carry the whole thing. You know, you don't want to do that. That was
Do we have
Oscars.
Do we have Neil Patrick Harris in the budget?
Do we?
That's if he works for free.
Man. Okay, we have to
That's my budget.
Let's email Neil Patrick Harris. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I bet he'd have some things to say about the art in Maximum Carnage.
Another thing.
Or Adam Warlock's pants.
Another thing, and I think this goes throughout most of the book, there are a lot of weird times where I feel like people's feet are abnormally small and triangular. There are a lot of times. And like even like some of the scenes where like I think like the first scene with Mary Jane and like literally she's on tiptoe for no apparent reason. Like feet in this aren't done great, and every once in a while in a big shot it like like it's weird how small and triangular they are sometimes. And in some of the bigger shots they catch my eye. Like even a couple of the Carnage first shots, like his feet are just weirdly triangular. Like, weirdly small and triangles.
You're right. The biggest problem isn't the triangle feet for me. It's the lack of ankle.
I feel, cause it's so weird, cause, especially with Carnage, of all people, he's not hugely muscular like everybody else, but he's got muscles. He's got a leg muscle. And then it ends and comes nearly to, like, an end completely, and then creates an ankle and a small foot. Like, it's really weird. It's distracting in some points. I gotta say, I think, at some point, I've seen it in everybody, all the artists' style. There are better people who do better with feet, but especially in Limited Spider-Man, which kind of stunk because the art style was great, but just sometimes feet annoyed me. This is the only thing I gotta say. Yep.
Oh, okay. I think
that ends art.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's covered most things.
Yeah, so spoilers.
Yeah. I guess let's go to spoilers.
Spoilers it is.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Spoiler.
It was Earth the whole time.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, where to start with this? I guess the rest of the book, I can sum it up really quickly, which is everybody fights. Somehow
Carnage nearly dies. Spider-Man says don't kill him. They get away and defeat Spider-Man. Spider-Man goes
rinse,
back.
repeat.
Yeah, with a lot of
Constantly.
murder. It's like civilians die, heroes move in, Carnage almost killed.
And then their main killing plot point, not the end-to-end, but their main killing plot point is the Care Bear stare. Why is that? He literally comes out and he's like, oh, this thing makes you feel emotions. Really nice ones. Let me stick it on my stomach and shoot you a laser with it. It was a Care Bear stare.
Yeah.
So stupid. I was like, what?
Alright, we should probably go through who else shows up in this
There's a lot of
menagerie
characters.
of
You're right.
mess.
The ranks on both sides do get larger as the comic progresses.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
Some people have absolutely no business being
Yeah, there
here.
was really no point. So Carnage is team gets Demogoblin, who is yet another Green Goblin variant.
Yep.
Who may actually be a demon.
Hobgoblin variant.
Oh, is he a Hobgoblin variant? Whatever.
But the Hobgoblin's
a Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Look, you got your... Okay, from what I gather...
There's way too many goblins.
There's a Green Goblin Norman Osborn, a Green Goblin Harry Osborn, a Hobgoblin... Somebody, I don't know enough about it.
I don't know Spider-Man.
I think there's another Green Goblin who might have been... Because this was on a random list I read online. There might have been a Green Goblin who was Harry's psychiatrist at one point. And then there's this Demogoblin. I don't even know what goblin. What are these goblins? I didn't even know Demogoblin existed. We're picking up this book.
Demogoblin's also a really weird name. It just makes me think of Demolition Person, like Demolition Demogoblin. I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, he's here to demolish your goblin. I don't know.
He also flies around on a fire bat. I kind of like that, actually.
Yeah, the fire bat was cool. But I couldn't quite tell if, once again, was the bat actually on fire? Was it mostly like...
There was one point, and somebody from Spider-Man team goes to touch it, and I guess he touches it, so he touches the butt, and then it's like... He's not burned by my fire bat, and I'm like, that's okay, that never came up, but okay. Apparently your fire bat burns things, but you never used it to burn things.
Huh.
Except for, like, one thing.
Yeah, admittedly...
a building.
I would not be good with the fire bat, because I would totally be like, oh man, I can burn things with it, and crash it immediately into something. And that would be that. And it'd be like, Paul, what happened here? Well, I tried to burn things with my fire bat. Although I will admit that when I watched the Spider-Man cartoon as a kid, I wanted a Goblin glider, like, really bad.
So cool.
Right? It's that whole flying thing. Okay. Anyway. So, once again, Team Spider-Man. This is so...
Team Carnage gets...
Well,
Gets
because
Demogoblin.
Demogoblin,
Team Spider-Man.
Carrion they get as well.
Oh yeah, another guy who I'd never heard of. Carrion.
Never heard of.
Who apparently can touch people and they decay.
He's also the second person who comes out of a sewer.
Yes. Oh yes. Like Sewer Watch.
Very important.
Sewer Gate.
Yeah. But he just shows up. I guess we can now rant about this. I want to. He shows up out of nowhere, just follows Carnage and Shriek and the spider clone along.
Like literally, Carnage is like, "You want to join us?" He doesn't say anything, and then they walk away, and he just walks with them. Like whatever.
Yeah.
Great.
I guess he's murdering people too.
Yeah, he says something like, "A while later."
Well, yeah, second to last issue. I thought he didn't talk, and then all of a sudden, all of a sudden, like, then things are going bad for the villains, and he goes, "We should help Mother." I'm like, whoa! First off, you talk. Second, you're really gonna go into the whole family dynamic thing with your one line of dialogue? Really? That's where we're going with this?
So weird. Cause I thought that was like a characteristic, cause it's like, okay, you're like the embodiment of a disease, I guess, cause you take away life. I assume you're like a zombie and you don't speak. That makes sense that you would then not respond to things. No, you just didn't respond to things or talk for the first freaking half of the story, cause you didn't feel like it. And then I guess you were really enveloped in this whole Carnage is your dad, Shriek is your mom, and I need to protect Shriek now because she's my mom.
I mean, okay, granted, Shriek's relatively attractive, but again, I don't see why that would then be, going whole hog with the parent. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it.
No.
Okay, so.
Nothing to get.
There's no getting. So. We'll finish out the roster, I guess. Team Spider-Man gets, Morbius, the living vampire, which again, is kind of a dark, random character to join in. And
then they kind of lose everyone after.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so unnecessary.
Because I will say, like, Infinity Gauntlet, I was saying, Infinity Gauntlet had this feeling of just continually going upwards, but it just felt like it was because it could. It was like, oh no, this is bigger and greater and it's going to destroy everything. And it was like, that's cool and all, but whatever. Like, it just kept going and I was like, this sucks. I feel like in here, at least the storyline of Peter Parker going between his moral of whether to kill people or not, or whether people have good in them or not, because it was basically like the fight between his father and Aunt May, who Aunt May is like, nope, everybody's got good in them, and Peter Parker's father, which we'll get to in a second, but he's like, no, everybody's got devils in them and they're evil, so kill them. So basically, yeah, like, so the storyline of Peter Parker going whether I should team up with murderers, whether I should murder, like, I feel like that storyline at least carried me well enough so that even though it escalated with that storyline with him fighting his morals, it still it still kept me and didn't make me feel like, well, this is going upwards for no apparent reason.
It also carried the books, because they would have beaten up Carnage and then killed him, and then we would have been done 2 issues in.
I was going to say, they almost murdered him multiple
times.
times.
A lot.
For a lot of build-up. He gets the snot kicked out of him many times. But I guess with Infinity Gauntlet, at least, the characters that they used, I think what made Infinity Gauntlet for me better than this, and you were saying this plot carried for you a little bit more. For me, it didn't, because at least Infinity Gauntlet, you had Thanos, who was kind of interesting in his viewpoint of things.
Yeah.
You had, like, Death herself was a character. Like, they were interesting. They were interesting. But Carnage is just like, woo, I'm crazy. I'm gonna murder people. Want to join my murder family? All right. Guess what? I'm the dad. Don't kill Spider-Man or I'll kill you. Ha ha ha. Hey, let's murder those people. I'm like, I'm done with it. What is
also Venom's my dad, so I'll drag him into this weird family situation too.
Watch out for Grandpa over there, who's gonna be like, what is happening with this? I mean, I get it. He's insane, but it was not insane enough for the amount of insanity that it was. If that made sense, like I feel like, I don't know, it was weird. I didn't care for Carnage as a character.
I can understand that, because it is weird when the main villain's driving point is I want to kill people, because then it feels like, well, okay, you killed everybody. What's your end goal? What are you doing? You know, are you trying to rule something? No, you're just trying to kill. I mean, I guess there's some fear in that, not knowing what it, just knowing that they're driven by only that, but it's weird.
Yeah, but my problem, again, it's the same problem I had where Infinity Gauntlet, the scale got too big and, like, planets and galaxies were being thrown.
Yeah.
At least I stayed with that a lot longer than I thought I was going to. With this, I think it's because they don't show, like, I mean, I know they can't, I don't want to see people brutally murdered. I don't want to. But the sheer number that are implied to be killed is ridiculous, to the point where it's just like, I don't even care. And I felt terrible, because it's one thing when it's like, and then, the Guardians threw, or whatever they were, the giant Sentinels threw galaxies around. I'm like, well, at least that's impressive on a cosmic scale. It's hard to fathom, but I get that. This is just like, and so the people in Central Park are all dead. Carnage left to murder more people. I'm like, well, what is this? I don't.
Speaking of which, going back to, my original I was talking about, or whatever, I forgot. No, it was like going back to what I said before, because I said we'd get back to this. Spoilers for another book, I guess. Peter Parker's parents are alive? First off, I mean, I don't know much about Spider-Man. I didn't know his parents really, nobody talks about how his parents die. It's just always Uncle Ben dies. It's just like, oh, we were living with your aunt and uncle, and your uncle dies. Origin story. But apparently they were in a Soviet prison camp for 20 years and then come back. I'm like, what? This is so weird.
Yeah. That whole thing, I'm like, okay. I mean, again, that's one of those things where jumping into this blind is both insanely fun and...
What were they doing in Russia?
What, are they spies? Are they soldiers?
Literally, because I was thinking about it, I'm like, I literally know nothing about Peter Parker's parents. I don't know, did they just leave him in New York because he was going to school there? So, Aunt May and Uncle Ben lived there? It was cheap?
Hold on. How old is Spider-Man at this point?
Well, I mean, he's
20s,
old enough
I'd imagine.
I was gonna say, he's old enough to marry Mary Jane and move out on his own.
Okay,
so.
I was gonna say, because if they've been in prison for 20 years, and he's less than 20 years old at this point.
No, I mean, I would assume he's like 25, is my estimate. I don't know. Peter Parker may be 12. I don't know.
Somebody find that and do that math.
I've been trying to come up with an alliteration sentence for Peter Parker's parents packed a plane.
Well, if they were... Okay, so they're in a Russian jail. I would assume that they were in the Cold War, right? That would make
80s.
Sense.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe 70s.
Right, I'm sorry.
Because it would be 70s because this is the 90s. I mean, if it's present day.
Yeah, so it'd be, that would
Because it wouldn't be World War.
But
so were they spies or something? What the crud's going on?
Yeah, I don't quite entirely get it.
I don't know. Basically, his parents are just there, and I'm like, oh, okay. Literally, I just never, Batman, you think of his parents, because they mention his parents, every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Just never thought of Spider-Man's parents. I was just like, well, I guess they died, maybe.
Yeah, I just assumed they were just dead, and that was a non-issue at this point.
Apparently, because Peter Parker doesn't care about it enough, it never affects his character.
Yeah.
in anything that I've seen.
Hmm.
Like, even the movies, none of the movies go into detail about his parents. They're just like, meh.
Yep. Until the new ones, which I think is one of the reasons why people didn't like them. That and being rushed and okay, whatever. Anyway, I don't know. I guess I'll mention.
Oh yeah, because the team we got off off track because the Venom, Morbius, and Black Cat basically go off because Peter Parker's like, I'm not gonna kill things, and then they're like, well, we're gonna kill things.
Yeah,
See you later. I don't care.
Yeah.
So then, yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah, which honestly, it gets to the point where again, I'm usually all for no, we need to be above them. Don't kill them. I'm like, this guy just murdered an entire. And it's not even like I'm insane. This guy just in case it's not obvious, I really don't like Carnage as a character. He is dull. He's all the not fun part of murder villain. Anyway, okay. Since he's on this page, I'll mention Mr. Care Bear Stare himself. A guy named Deathlock, even despite that name, is on the hero's side.
Yeah, I don't.
Who is Deathlock? I don't know.
I don't. It's always so confusing because there's
some cyborg ripoff.
I don't know because it's so confusing because there's DC has Deathshot and then there's Marvel's Deadpool and then there's Deathlock and then there's Deathstroke and then there's just so many dead somethings.
So many dead people.
Dead man.
Dead man.
So many of these people. But anyway, so Deathlock appears.
Yeah, I don't even know what he just says.
He's apparently they say he's like or somebody says that he's like a paid mercenary but for good. So he apparently just reads up on the news and goes, somebody's cat's caught in a tree. I guess I'll save it. I guess that's what he does.
Give me $50.
But what is his job and why is
I don't know.
Carnage? He's just described as the cyberspace where Deathlock monitors information at a speed no mere human could hope to match. And he says there's record levels of violence, according to reports he's getting. Does he only watch Earth? Does he watch other planets? Because he's obviously...
I don't know. I mean, I think Captain America alludes to him having been a bad guy at some point.
Well, the name like Deathlock.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Captain America.
Oh, yeah, spoiler. Captain America, who honestly could have been replaced with any character. It could have been like the Michelin Man and he would have served the same basic purpose.
Hey, the Michelin Man would not have made such awful, corny 90s PSA style quotes.
I mean, maybe not me because I haven't read a bunch of Captain America, but I guess he does serve the purpose, I feel like, of, cause Spider-Man sees Captain America and goes, no, I can't murder people. Like, this is God on Earth. Like, I can't murder people in front of Captain America. Like, no. And like, even, Shriek is like mind, speaking of which, another one of the powers of Shriek is to amplify people's emotions, which is stupid. So she amplifies people's like anger and stuff, and then apparently Captain America comes in and everybody else goes, I can't murder or steal in front of Captain America. I'm sorry, Captain America. Like, I feel like I don't think I could think of any of the characters, any of the Avengers at all that everybody would be like, oh, I'm sorry, Iron Man, I stole things. Like,
okay, all right,
I can see Captain America as that. The story would have not changed much, but yeah, I do see his point in some way. But he doesn't do anything other than inspire people to be good and not murder people. That's it.
I guess. But I mean, yeah. I don't you're
know.
right. I'm sorry. I jumped the gun on that one a little bit, but
thanks, Captain America, for bringing Paul in line.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I can't say bad things about this comic in front of you, Captain America. I see the error of my ways.
The art in Amazing Spider-Man was decent.
I also love how cause basically the reason Captain America gets involved is cause they get beat again. Spider-Man team gets beat again. And Spider-Man's like, well, we could have Fantastic Four. No, they're out on vacation. Well, about the Avengers? No, they're on the other side of the earth doing something. It's like, wow.
I feel like if there's record levels of death.
Timing.
Yeah.
Can't the Fantastic Four and the Avengers talk and take their vacations at different times? Can't you do that and not be gone at the same time?
Yeah, Spider-Man can do it.
Or
he
it's-
can fight and Mary Jane will be upset.
I just wonder if they were just like, okay, Spider-Man, we're both leaving. You gotta take really good care. No parties. You gotta take care of New York.
You're not my dad. My dad's back.
If you
wait,
need
it's
us,
Captain America? No, I'll be good, Captain
if you
America.
need us, you can catch us at this number. But where we're going doesn't have really good cell signal, so it might be a little hard to get in contact with
Hulk
us.
will probably just break the phone anyway.
There's so much. Yeah, I guess. But you'd think if the violence was bad enough that someone who I'm assuming is in space comes down
Yeah.
and is like, hey,
No,
they
that's
never establish where he just
That's
pops
true.
up. He's
Was he?
oh, I'm in cyberspace, and then all of a sudden he just pops up in New York. I have no fucking idea where he came from. Like,
wait, was he in space?
I don't know. It just says cyberspace, right?
Is he in a computer? Did I totally
I
miss
don't
that?
know.
Maybe that's why he's monitoring it. Hold on. I just totally understand this character now. I take back
you
every.
don't.
I get Deathlock. Hold on.
Also,
So-
yes,
He's in a computer, so that's why he knows about all the bad stuff that's happening. And where does he pop out? Where's his first panel? Nope.
he just
shows
exists.
up on a car. Never mind.
Maybe he came out of the sewers. Sewer gate.
I thought. See,
Apparently, where all of them come from.
I really thought.
Where they found this story.
I also like, and then Iron Fist comes and saves Deathlock, and I love Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
I don't know. His power is he has a really kick-ass mask, and he punches things, I
Oh,
presume.
It apparently stares people down. There's a scene. I'm sorry, I wanted to write about this scene. There's a scene where, because apparently Shriek can amplify emotions, so she's amplifying Carnage's and the others around her's insanity onto other people, and everyone's going insane, and Iron Fist is like, I got this. And just meditatively stares at people.
And they go, we're sorry.
And they basically calm down, and they just stare back.
The Captain America, sorry.
Until he gets distracted. And, there's too many people.
Apparently, to meditate somebody, you have to stare at them, which they come from behind. He's like, well, fuck.
I can't meditate at you when I can't see you.
Oh my god.
And then even Spider-Man's like, how the fuck did you do that? Training. Well, can you teach us? Yeah, sure. How long is it gonna take? A long, long
5
time.
to 10 years. It's like, what? Speaking of which, there's another character.
Firestar.
Firestar's really cool. She's well dressed. I like her costume. Yeah. She's great. She shoots microwaves. Kind of weird. But anyways.
I do like Firestar.
We keep bringing up Shriek, who's the worst. She's dressed cool and everything. But her powers have nothing to do with her name. She's called Shriek. She does not scream. She shoots. She either claps her hands or she just shoots lasers from her hands, which I don't know why you'd clap your hands then, because you can just shoot your lasers from your hands without doing so. And then, for some odd reason, I guess those are sound waves that you're shooting people with, but then you amplify emotions, and it has nothing to do with sound waves. What are you doing?
And then how did she get all of the powers? Inside of Cloak's cloak.
And
inside of the Ebon Void.
Oh my god. And then if she works with amplification, then she would be able, if she worked with waves, that would make sense, because then she would be able to beat microwaves coming from Firestar, but she doesn't, because she gets beaten by Firestar's microwaves. She's so terrible. Why is
I'm gonna be honest.
I don't understand her.
To be honest, get rid of Carnage from this book. Have Shriek be the main antagonist. Drop the random I can amplify people's powers thing.
Emotions?
Emotion, yeah, a random people emotion thing. Cause I think her backstory was more sprinkled, Carnage gets one issue where all of a sudden, yeah, I was abused as a child and bullied and blah, 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 now I murder people. I'm like, oh, well that was a nice 3-page dump of information. Whereas with Shriek, it's kinda scattered through in little bits and little pieces, and her backstory is pretty cool.
I liked how her backstory intertwined with Cloak and Dagger, cause what was it, she was a rock band person?
Yeah, she was a groupie who then she got involved.
Probably Kiss.
Well, yeah, or assuming Kiss, or a Kiss-related Marvel band. And
Smooch.
she needed, there you go, oh, that's good, I like that. I really like that. And she apparently, I'm assuming needed money for
drugs
something.
or
Yeah.
something.
And she wasn't totally all there, but she was mostly sane. Just trying to do a drug deal, and Cloak went too far and pulled her into the Ebon Void, and she went nuts in there, and so technically her entire creation is his fault. which is really a cool thing. It's kind of like the Batman Joker thing.
Yeah. And then she kills Dagger, so then she's like, oh no, it's your fault, Cloak, because you made me.
I'm like, well, that's really deep. That's really
That was
awesome.
really deep up until the point where I'm like, where the fuck did you get powers from?
Exactly.
Did you get it from the Void? Or did this happen?
In which
What
case-
are your powers?
She pulled it out of Cloak's ass.
Oh.
What are her
I
powers?
told you there was another Ebb and
Yeah,
Void
that's
joke
your
coming.
last one. You're done.
Oh my
You're
God.
done. I'm cutting you off. I really want to go on to this Shriek thing where I'm like, I mean, she fascinated me. Yeah, I do want to know where she got the powers from because I mean, I really like her as a character if they just gave her something
Yeah.
to work with.
And it
there.
seems like a vital
Nope.
flaw in Cloak's powers if he gives people powers after torturing them in his cloak. That seems so weird. Like, why would you ever do that?
I made you insane and now you're superpowered. What a terrible system of justice. I mean, Geordie LaForge is probably running around melting things with his heat vision. Like, who knows anymore? Cloak. Like, I don't know.
Oh my god.
But basically, I would love to have read a Cloak and Dagger comic with Shriek as the villain. I think that would have been so much more interesting.
Also, I don't know what Doppelganger doesn't.
What is
He appears out of nowhere. He attacks people and then for some odd reason follows Shriek and like follows Shriek like loyally like a dog. Like it's really weird. And he just keeps killing people and doesn't kill any of the people that he's with. Weird enough, but then he develops this relationship with Shriek where he protects Shriek from like Carnage will smack Shriek around cause they got like the Joker and Harley Quinn. He'll smack her around and yell at her for trying to kill Spider-Man and Doppelganger will get in there and be like, no, don't do this, so except he doesn't say it. He just rah, rah, and just hits him. It's the cutest thing ever, and he's constantly huddled up behind Shriek, and he's got his arms around, it's so cute. He's just like a small child, except with very pointy teeth, multiple eyes, and arms.
And razor webbing.
Yeah, and razor webbing.
You took that as being a lot more cute than I did, but okay.
Yeah, it was a little weirder.
But I still get your point and agree.
We still haven't hit all these characters, by the way.
If you see him not as a human Spider-Man being and see him as a dog, he's pretty cute.
Right, okay.
But as a human being Spider-Man thing, which apparently doesn't, although I guess with all those teeth I wouldn't be able to talk either. Whatever. Okay. Speaking of which, Carnage team is full of people with many teeth. So many teeth.
And speech impediments. There's... Also, I'm sorry. Alright, okay. Who haven't we introduced yet? I don't even know.
Spawn.
We did Spawn, who was in Spawn. What's his face?
Oh yeah, not Spawn.
Not Spawn. Nightwatch.
Nightwatch. There we go. He comes in.
He will
looks
be
like
not Spawn for the remainder of this.
I'm not gonna remember that name.
Because I didn't throughout the whole comic.
I just went, oh look, not Spawn's back.
Yeah, I really thought it was Spawn. I got really psyched. I'm like,
I did
dude.
too.
Speaking of which, who also has life clothing, because his cloak has a mind of its own as well. How many alien clothing, living clothing things does New York have? Because it's a lot.
Apparently, be careful buying those I Love New York shirts. Maybe that's why Black Cat wears what she does. It's like clothing she can trust.
Oh god.
But okay, and also we should have mentioned this in art. I missed it. This is visual. I'm sorry. What are they flying?
I love the flying saucer. I think they mentioned the name when Vision comes in at the end, but Captain America's flying around a flying saucer. It's great.
It's
with Iron Fist and Deathlock. Just the greatest team ever.
I would who would, what? It's so out of place, and it's only in a couple scenes.
Also, I love third issue and Carnage comes into the house, he knocks on the door and falls in, he's all beat up.
Venom,
yes.
Sorry, Venom comes in, he's all beat up and he comes in to rest on their couch. Peter Parker is wearing bear slippers. He jumps over, he's wearing these bear, I was like, why was that needed? Why? Mary Jane's in bare feet, I think. Why do you need these bear slippers? They're the fuzzy slippers with the claws. I was like, okay, that's a weird little thing.
He's not in pajamas. Those are clearly tights. You can see his abs through them. Like spandex pants and bear, I didn't notice them.
He's
oh my god.
Time to relax. Bear slippers.
Yep.
What?
How do you not do that? I mean, how else is he going to have bare feet?
So,
That was awful. I'm sorry.
Just why?
after that,
Still not the worst pun in this.
Venom, Black Cat, and Spider-Man go to fight Carnage at some point. And Black Cat mentions that Venom had broken her nose and almost killed her. It broke her nose, almost killed her, like, comma, almost killed her. I don't know if he almost killed her by breaking her nose, or if he broke her nose and almost killed her.
The Gam Brady effect, I mean.
I was just like,
ow, my nose! Oh, my acting career, it's gone!
Oh, no. I feel as though I don't know enough about her to be comfortable with that joke.
I don't know her
I
at
don't know
all.
what happens.
She's obsessed with cats, and she dresses very, anti-gravitational non-physics.
Yeah.
And apparently her nose was broken by Carnage, and which possibly which possibly caused her death, or almost killed her in a separate occasion. I don't know. It just seemed like I feel like there's worse injuries you could have gotten. I don't know why they drug up broke my nose. That was, how dare you?
Well, I mean, I admit I don't hang around with people who might break my nose, but still,
yeah. I'm trying to, another thing, I don't know if anybody else has anything to bring up. Looks like you bringing up, I'm bringing up all my notes.
No, that's
of
fine,
weird
go for
things
it.
that are happening.
My rant was,
you're hitting a bunch of
what
my
is
stuff
this?
up.
What is that? Why is that?
There was the moment, Peter's talking to Aunt May, and he's at a moment where, yet again, he's at his morals, and he's like, oh, I don't know what to do, but he can't tell Aunt May. So Aunt May's like, well, you know, me and Uncle Ben always believe in there's good in everyone. There's good in everyone. He's like, oh, I have this problem I can't talk about. It's very personal. So and she's like, oh, well, whatever happens, there's good in everyone's heart. Everything will work out. And then Peter's dad comes in and goes like, no, there's devils in everyone. Kill anyone. Die, whatever. Like, what if Peter had I don't know, erectile dysfunction? He's like, no, there's devils in everyone. Kill everything. Done. That's it. That is the solution to everything. Wow, he just came out of nowhere, got really angry and really serious, and I was like, he has no idea what's going on. I was like, you're just specifically talking about saving and or killing people for Peter Parker saying, I have a personal issue.
It's like, Dad, you gave me the same advice when I wasn't sure what shoes to wear.
There's devils in everyone.
Dad, I don't know if I should get chocolate or vanilla. There's devils in everyone.
Also, I gotta say, the one thing that I really, really enjoyed was during Shriek's crazy, I'm gonna make everybody crazy moment thing.
Yeah. 2
specific characters get a lot of time. They're just random people. One is the woman who hangs her children off the edge of the building.
I love that scene. That is the best scene, cause
hold on, it's lousy Rugrats, take every minute I have, every penny I make, and give me nothing in return but dirty diapers and stretch marks.
Oh my god, but then Spider-Man comes along and the kids are like, oh, Spider-Man! And she's like, oh, my kids love you. Oh I love my kids. And Spider-Man's like, oh, somebody else did this. They couldn't have saved those kids. Yes, they could. They could have run over and saved the kids from falling off of the goddamn building. It wasn't just, you just had the easy route of she didn't throw her kids off the building. Captain America has a flying saucer. It could have been used to save the children. You also have web slingers.
Yeah, there's a lot of, yeah.
There were so many ways to save those children.
There's that, and then I'm trying to find the other one, so give me a second.
There was a scene, MJ, is mad, and the only time that she
really?
Yeah.
MJ was mad in this book?
The only time she leaves the apartment is to go to a club. She goes to a club and looks at this guy with brown hair and goes, Peter Parker, and he goes, sorry, it's not he's like, oh, sorry, it's not Peter Parker. And then the scene continues. I don't know what the point of that scene was. I forget what he says, cause he says something stupid, too.
Yeah, hold on. Oh boy, am I ever sorry, cause, he...
But that's what the Peter Parker lookalike says. She says, Peter Parker, sorry, boy am I sorry. What is he sorry for?
Well, because he's not
Peter Parker, and then she goes back to dancing. That scene was so weird.
Yeah, that extra panel makes it weird, because it shows she's trying to just go out and about to forget Peter and the whole thing. Thinks she sees Peter. It isn't Peter. The guy who says, man, I wish I was Peter because I would totally bang you is basically the implication there. And then Mary Jane gets mad and goes, well, fine. If he's going to be all playing hero again, I'm just going to start dancing crazy on the dance floor with everyone randomly staring at her with cameras, which is really creepy.
Well, she's an actor.
Very
I think
creepy.
they say something
Oh, it's
about
like
her
a
being
model or an
famous.
actress or something. Okay, well, it's still creepy.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's not heavily said enough in this book to make it not creepy.
I found the other looter, by the way.
What was the other looter?
He's the guy, Deathlock stops him, but he's stealing a computer, and he's like, 10 megs of RAM, and 80 meg hard drive, why shouldn't I take it? I deserve it! And I just lost it, I'm like, that dates this so much.
I like Deathlock comes in. I think Deathlock comes in on that one. He's like, computers are great, but you shouldn't steal. Like, it was literally a
Computers
PSA.
make life better, son. Stealing them doesn't. That's not the worst PSA in this entire
But that
book.
was seriously a PSA. Like, that
Yeah.
scene for that was
Yeah.
just done.
I hated
I
that
like
section.
what is it, Captain America goes later on. He's like, wholesale destruction and suffering is never a game. And I'm waiting for him to go, now eat your veggies and go to bed on time.
Like, again, that entire segment, when I first read it, I was like, I kind of liked it, and now I just kind of hate it. It just why? Why are you guys stopping the looting when you could stop the person who is murdering everyone?
I know, that
the
was
priorities are so
the
wrong.
stupidest. I looked at that scene and the only thing I could think of was like Captain America. Cause like, literally, this guy's like looking in the window and he has like a crowbar or something. He's like, I'm gonna break this window. I'm gonna steal stuff. And Captain America comes up behind him and is obviously towering over him.
Yep.
So he turns around and looks at his muscles and it's just like, look into the muscles of justice and see what you have done wrong. It's like, what is this?
It's like from Rocco's Modern Life. Look into the nipples of the future.
Yeah, like literally that is what he does. Cause he's standing, it made me think that.
I guess, alright,
Yep.
we meant, I'm looking at, we still didn't even tell what the plot ends.
I
just,
know.
It's because it's like the dumbest ending that this could have had.
yeah, good triumphs. Let's not kill the crazy person. Like,
It was just the stupidest thing because it was like they're all battling, and then Peter's like, "I'll distract them," so he distracts them, and then they come back, and like Peter's like, "Thanks God that you got my Deus Machina machine because this solves the exact problem. Good thing I invented it 2 months ago." Like, what the fuck was? And it was seriously a Care Bear stare. It's like, this will make you feel emotions, and then they're overridden with their terrible emotions. Like, I don't
because
get.
they're horrible people. And it's like,
It's
yeah.
such an awful thing that it cures Carrion's disease because it doesn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, or oh, and also Dagger comes back from the dead. Like, oh, okay. Oh, welcome back to then not do anything again.
Yeah.
Oh
like,
my, she was.
Again, not doing anything.
I mean,
Maybe
she
that's why
did-
she dies.
I don't know. It was
It's
so. It made no sense. I mean, at this point, Shriek's powers kind of make sense because they make her feel good and shoot her with a Care Bear stare, and then she amplifies it, so she amplifies emotion, which I guess made sense at that point, but it still doesn't make sense that it's her power,
That's her
or that
power.
she has it, or why she's named Shriek.
Yeah.
But it made sense at that point. I was like, okay, she amplifies emotion.
Like, I mean,
She's having emotions right now.
see, the more I think about this, I really like Shriek as a character. If have her
Give her clap or something. I don't know. Sound wave, something.
Oh, yeah.
Shriek. Why did you choose Shriek? Like, somebody was like, I know we'll name her Shriek. She doesn't even scream, Bob. Like, no.
No, I've been
Shriek
sitting.
is
It'll make
definitely
sense.
the name.
I've been
Trust me.
sitting on this name forever. I want to use it on a character. Shriek. Like, she can amplify emotions. That's fine. You can make that a power. Like, that's fine. You can even then, that gives her a lot of leeway. Like, she needs to team up with people. That'd be awesome. That's fine. You can even then have like that kind of, she's latching on to different people that maybe aren't healthy for her relationship wise, but she makes powers better. That's why they keep her. There's a lot you can do with that. And instead, it's just wasted. This entire potential of that character.
Yeah, I don't know. And then apparently, yeah, she has so much background, and like, obviously she becomes better, I guess. But then they keep just hinting, they hint, literally, that Cassidy, Carnage's background is so terrible and horrific and the worst, and he's never had a good word said to him that he explodes from the Care Bear stare. Which made no sense, and it's just so like, it like literally like one of those.
He
like,
doesn't know what love
he's
is.
like, yeah, he's like the reverse Mary Sue. It's so weird. Like, it's like he's never known love. Like, it's so weird. It's just because they don't explain it. They just say, no, he's got the most tragic backstory ever.
It's like the Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, like, But they don't say it. Like, Wreck-It Ralph had a better explanation of the tragic backstory than, he was beat as a kid. Like, that's not a horrifically tragic backstory, but whatever.
I mean, it's pretty bad, but it's not enough to reach the levels of...
So he explodes. He somehow keeps the symbiote, so they don't think it's weird that he's dead and has the symbiote on him. Spoiler alert, it wasn't him, because they didn't bother to take off his mask and make sure it was him. And then he attacks Spider-Man, and Venom attacks Spider-Man, because Spider-Man killed Carnage, and Venom's like, brah, we're supposed to do that. And then Venom comes out of a lake for no apparent reason and attacks Carnage. Sorry, Carnage and
Okay,
Venom.
they're the same character.
They're the same character. Carnage comes out of a lake for some odd reason, then attacks Spider-Man.
And Venom.
And then Black Cat comes in for no real reason. There's absolutely no reason why she got back in the fight.
She needed more adhesive for her costume.
Yeah,
and then Venom kicked Carnage into a generator, which then apparently makes it explode. Apparently, if you kick people into generators, they explode. That's it. Done. And then they died. That was it.
Yeah, it was insanely
And they save Cassidy, whatever.
Oh, yeah, they he's not entirely dead. Let's go arrest him. It's like, oh, well, there you go.
Although it makes for the best cameo, which is Vision and Thor. Thor, who has a kick-ass jacket, and Vision, who's just awesome to see, because the only time I saw him was Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And
they come, to see him in not awful.
In their own flying saucer, and steal away the people. The end.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, Thor's over there, and he's got the normal jacket with, the
giant
like
buttons.
dots, so you have the giant buttons, but then he's got a cool, 90s jacket on top of it. It's cool.
Oh, God.
And then some chick who I have no idea who it is. But they take away what's-his-face, which is really what you should have done in the first place, but whatever.
Can I just say, oh my God, I didn't even read this line carefully when I read it. So yeah, you remember how we kept saying Carnage murdered, hundreds of people, probably close to thousands? After taking him and putting him in, some stasis pod with the Avengers, Spider-Man says, "Careful with this Joker."
He's killed millions of people.
Oh, this Joker. What?
All this chaos in New York, there's, millions in property damage, so much stuff, and it's
Careful with this Joker. What? I am so mad right now. I'm genuinely upset. I just happened to be flipping to that page to see if it was Vision.
Yeah.
And now I read the top of that, and I'm like, why is that? You just went through this, existential crisis about whether or not to kill the guy, which, spoiler alert, one of the few times I want to side with Venom, kill the guy, because there's no redeeming character.
No.
He does not know love. He blew up because he didn't know what love was.
Know what the best part of this whole thing is? They're gonna put him in eternal stasis at this point.
Oh, good. That's never gone wrong. What's the Jason horror movie where he's in space?
But I mean,
Oh, Jason in space.
Yeah. Yeah, you could have killed him. Instead, you're going to lock his eternal soul in stasis for as long as you have paid the electric bill.
So, the one thing that I like and dislike about this storyline, I don't know if I love it or if I hate it. Throughout the very not telling us about Carnage backstory, he does say, "My mom loved me. I killed my dad because he was killing my mom for trying to kill me," or it kind of happened that way. He mentions, he's not too sure if he remembers. He's insane. So, he brings it up, twice that he loved his mom. So then when he got the Care Bear stare and he has feelings, so he's like, "Oh, I gotta go back to places where I used to be and do things." I don't know. Something like that. So he goes back to his mom's grave and digs up his mom's grave. Spider-Man starts kicking his butt with Venom and Black Cat. At some point he goes to grab the casket of his mom and run away, and Venom punches him, so the casket goes flying. And then at the end, Spider-Man finds the casket and goes, "That's weird. There's nobody in here. I wonder if he just killed his mom to the point of there not being a body, or what happened." And I was like, that's interesting. I wonder what's gonna happen with that. Also, they never show the tombstone, so you're not too certain if it is actually, his mom or his dad, because obviously he keeps saying, it's mixed, he's like, I think it happened that way. That was kind of interesting, and I almost hope they go somewhere with it. They probably won't, which will then make it just a stupid line that does absolutely nothing, which would make me very angry. But it would be kind of cool if they went somewhere with that, where, I don't know, something happened. I don't know.
You mean give Carnage some actual depth?
Or,
Nope.
I don't know, it would be weird, like, maybe if the symbiote somehow connected to, like, his mom's corpse and is walking around with that. That would be awesome!
Oh, kind of like a Blackest Night kind of thing.
Yeah, cause it would be cool because, like, to begin with, Venom was created, the symbiote flew to Brock whatever his face is, and then a small piece was left over and that's what created Carnage, so it'd be kinda cool if a small piece got left over in the casket before he got exploded, and that's how Carnage lives. And it's like, oh, that'd be a cool connection. I have no idea if that's gonna happen. Probably won't, and it'll be stupid. That would be cool!
That'd be also cool. Then it's like the mother gave birth to the son, and then the son giving like life back to the mother. Like, there's a lot of cool things you could do with that.
Like, I wonder if, I don't know.
You're going too deep. It's Carnage.
Yeah, I know!
No, I'm like, but no, I'd read that. That actually sounds
I'd read that
engaging.
if that
I'd
happened,
bet
but I
this
feel like it
doesn't
doesn't. I feel like, for some odd reason, the Avengers lose power and he gets out of the stasis tube and they're in space, so there's a space symbiote.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's probably what it is.
That's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did we actually say the plot? I think we listed all the people and the plot. And
Yeah, we got around to that.
Yeah, hold on, I wanna make sure. Yep. I don't know. I hated that stupid Peter Parker machine Care Bear stare.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Well, that's a lot of
I
exclamation
really
points.
hate. I really hate the transition between books because each of the authors has their own idea of how each of the characters should behave and what their base behaviors are, and it's like I noticed it really early on in the books where Mary Jane was going back and forth between, where's Peter? He broke that promise. He couldn't do this. He couldn't stop being Spider-Man. I miss him. I love him.
Yeah.
You know, she does that constantly. Although it's hard to say whether it's because it's going back and forth between books or if that was just what the character was doing. Cause she literally...
I mapped it between books for a while.
She sat in the thing other than going to the club once and almost getting killed.
You could have.
She sits in the apartment all the time.
There was no, like, I was expecting something to come from that. There was literally, like, I guess at the very end, there's that scene where basically, well, we can't change each other. I guess we're in love. Kind of like, I don't.
But
nothing evolved. Nothing. I expected there to be like some sort of. You could have cut her out of this book entirely, and like
easily
nothing would have changed.
And Spider-Man's family. Except for the weird
I
Russian...
mean, there is a point which was funny, and it was Peter Parker decided, he's like, I'm gonna go kill this person. Too bad Mary Jane isn't here to make me feel different, cause she could make me feel different and not kill this person, but she's not here right now, so I'm gonna go kill people. I'm like, what? Like,
Peter,
that was a weird inner monologue.
Is this something you struggle with frequently? Or...
like, if only Mary Jane was here to tell me not to do this and it's wrong and it's a terribly immoral thing to do, then I would realize that it's wrong and terribly immoral to do.
But she's not.
But she's not here. So, too bad.
Yeah, it's such
Let's go.
Swinging
so
around
stupid.
New York. That's,
That is so stupid.
exactly not where she is.
Also, Molten Man, I think, had a scene where he was in like a Speedo.
He's in a Speedo and then he immediately goes inside and puts on like a winter sweater. And I was like, oh, you've got a nice fashion sense there.
Did you come outside to beat people up in a Speedo and then go inside? No, don't get blood on my nice winter sweater. I better strip down to my bright green Speedo.
Also, yet again, doesn't melt anything, ever.
No.
He just punches people. Which, I mean, he looks like he's made of solid metal. So I guess it would hurt to punch people. I'm trying to find a good picture of... Okay, whatever. I like, and I like this to the point, I like Iron Fist's costume. Because first off, he's got like a do-rag on his head. And then he's got eyes. So it was awesome. He's got a collar to like match like Doctor Strange's collar. Like, it's pretty tall. I don't know why you would do kung fu and then block your vision with a thing, but whatever. And then he's got green, he doesn't have gloves on his hands, so he's just hands. And then he's got like capri pants, and then like slip-on shoes for feet. Something about his shoes and showing his ankles really just was like, I respect you, Iron Fist.
I guess when you can kick somebody's ass, you're allowed to get dressed in the closet with the light off.
I hated his costume.
Honey, what are you doing with that do-rag on your head again? Not now, Mom. I'm gonna go fight crime.
Oh, there's a good one. But
yeah. Also with his dragon tattoo on his chest, which is pretty kick-ass, I will give you that.
I hate him so much. There's so much of this book.
This book suffers from being in the 90s. I
don't know why I recognize feet. Deathlock's feet change? Is that weird? Cause he starts out, and I mentioned it in a note, and I didn't mention it here. He has like weird raptor feet where he's got like 2 toes, and he's standing on a car, and like it's just his foot's there, and I was like, that's pretty cool looking. And I mean, I guess you're a robot, so you can have whatever you want. But then he changes to regular feet, and I was like, well, that's disappointing. I liked your raptor feet.
You have said a lot about the character's feet.
You get like
so many feet.
I
really like Firestar, actually.
Yeah, I was about to go into the Firestar. Like, her costume's pretty sweet.
Because all the other women in this have like the V-neck, and I mean, Shriek's isn't as bad as Black Cat's. But then Firestar has a really nice, just full body,
like leotard,
and then a jacket, and it's all on fire, which is cool, even though she uses microwaves, which isn't technically fire, but all cool.
Yeah.
It's all cool.
Science.
I'll live.
Yeah.
That would be the best power ever, microwaves. Can you think about that? You just cook food all the time.
Oh, that'd be the greatest.
That'd be great.
Oh, look at that pizza over there. Blam!
Cooked.
Although, to be more accurate, you'd have to slowly spin it and stare at it for a while. But
you'd need like a sidekick whose power would be to slowly spin things.
Oh, that is the best superhero team ever.
She also has kick-ass goggles, too.
Yeah,
she has the glasses,
her design is awesome.
I like her a lot. And, of course, she's like second... I don't know if she's an Avenger. I guess not, because all the Avengers are gone except for Captain America, which seems silly, because I feel like Captain America is the leader, but whatever. And obviously Fantastic Four, because they were like, oh, they're weak to fire, let's just get Johnny Storm. And then that's when they're like, oh, they're out on vacation, be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I can't just buy a torch.
Yeah.
Or any...
I just love those scenes where Brock is like above like a small campfire. It's just like, this hurts. It's like, you're like 3 feet above that fire. That cannot hurt. You're in a sweat, possibly. You're inconvenienced.
Quit being a baby.
You muscle-bound symbiote.
If that was the case, you could fight off Venom and Carnage with a lit cigarette.
Cause then he's like, haha, I outsmarted you, Carnage, cause I hid my symbiote suit in the gun that you were gonna shoot me with, and now I have my suit back, but there's still fire beneath me, which apparently was making me weak. I didn't get any of it. It didn't make
that whole
sense.
scene was stupid.
Speaking of which, between art books, he changed the way that he was chained up. Cause one way didn't make sense. He was chained up like all of his body, which I guess made sense to keep his arms, whatever, but he was chained up all of his body and then like 10 feet from the fire. And then the next one, he was chained up by his feet. I think it was his feet, but like he was vertical as opposed to horizontal, which doesn't make any sense. He was vertical. So he was pointed at the fire and like at least 2 inches from it. And I was like, okay, it might hurt then. Whatever. Didn't make sense. The changes between art styles was kind of weird, but whatever. Anything else? Those are all the complaints I could make about it.
I think we ranted.
I'm sure there's more complaints.
This was a rant.
Yeah, I mean, for as much as I ran about it, it wasn't terrible, but I know a decent amount of the characters because I watched the Spider-Man TV show in the 90s. So I knew like Morbius, and I knew a couple of the other guys where it was like, okay, you appeared, like even Doppelganger I think was on the show at one point or something like that, or at least a Doppelganger lookalike.
Doppelganger.
But, I knew some of the characters because of that, but otherwise, Black Cat, like those people.
Yeah.
I knew because of some of those characters because of that, but if I didn't, like if I knew Spider-Man, like wow, would I be lost? Like Carry On still confuses me to no end.
Yeah.
Shriek is stupid, although apparently she just appears because, yeah, there was just so many characters being not Spawn, who appears at the last minute for no apparent reason. Like, it would really, yeah, I would say this book would definitely not be, if you're like, I want to start Spider-Man, do not start with Maximum Carnage in any way, shape, or form. And really, if you didn't experience the 90s, I don't think you're gonna recognize most of this book. There's a lot of 90s references. There's things I don't recognize. They mentioned a name of somebody, and I was like, nope. I don't know who that is. Too bad. Reference lost.
I feel like through our dialogue, we came up with a really awesome Carnage story that probably doesn't exist.
And it's a shame that it doesn't.
Yeah, because I'd read it.
That was, yeah.
That's actually, yeah, but...
I'd review it.
Yeah, I ranted enough about this thing, so...
Yeah, if we're going on a thumb system, since nobody's emailed us asking us for another system, of rating things, I'd say 1 thumb. I mean, enjoyable to read. Like, I didn't want to put, like, Age of Ultron was pretty bad where it was boring, and I was like, I want to put this down. I don't want to keep reading this. I could at least keep reading it, and the art was good for the most part. Some of it was a little iffy, but on the most part, it was pretty good. So yeah, really like 1 thumb, maybe half a thumb, maybe like 5/6. I don't know.
Oh, whoa.
Are we cutting thumbs?
Are we doing jeez, I didn't know about that.
Let's not split thumbs over this.
Yeah.
Okay. So like a thumb, maybe.
This is probably, I'm trying to think, but I think this might be my least favorite thing that we've read thus far.
Wow.
Like, I really did not like it. Besides the plot, which is basically, I'm gonna murder people. We should stop him. How should we stop him? By murdering him. No, I changed my mind. I just care. Yeah, there's no plot. The characters, whereas in Infinity Gauntlet, there was a lot of characters introduced, a lot of things happening. At least the threat seemed big enough to require it. The escalation made sense up to a point. I mean, I'm not a big fan of those large kind of comics, apparently, from what I've read. But at least that one held my attention and had some good points. And even for me, Age of Ultron, which I know you guys didn't care for, I walked away from that saying, oh, that was some interesting points about time travel and stuff and how they've set themselves up. And this, I feel like, not only was nothing accomplished, the characters, half of them didn't need to be there. It was a mess.
Half of them weren't there for much.
Yeah, like there was no point. And Carnage, who was like the main draw point of it, now that I know, I knew he was a serial killer before, that was about it. All I knew about him going into this. He's boring. There is nothing there. He just murders people to the point where it's not even, like, interesting to read about. So I guess going on the thumb system there, I'm very negative. I'm gonna say none. I did not like this. I'm okay.
You can thumb down.
I feel like a.
Wait, whoa. Is our thumb scale like a 5-point thumb scale, like 2 to 1 to none to negative -2?
Yeah, I
think-
no. I've been giving stuff. I've been giving
just,
stuff
just
thumbs
you're
down.
Just negative and throw it. No.
I was gonna go no thumbs. I was gonna say half thumb was like reasonable, like like a thumb and a half or half a thumb.
Okay,
like,
I thought we were on a 3-point scale.
I feel like I've
0,
thumbed things
2.
down before.
No.
I feel like I did.
Yeah, I'm sure you did, but that's not. No.
I feel like Miss Marvel was 2 thumbs down.
Yeah, that's just because you chose to say
you have a
that.
terrible.
And you're wrong. Which, if we're going to bring this up again, you were wrong then too. But yeah, no, well, whatever the score is, I'm not saying that I'm not saying this has no redeeming qualities. I did like Shriek if she was handled almost entirely differently. Her backstory was interesting, and she and the Cloak and Dagger bit was the most interesting part. Plus Firestar's cool fashion sense.
Yes.
But besides that, I got nothing from this that I would even care to. So that's like none from me.
Okay. That's weird. I'm gonna be slightly more optimistic than Paul. This was 60% a decent book.
Really?
Yeah, like there's interesting things in there past all the stupidness and the awful art by Mark Bagley.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't care if I butchered your name or not. It was awful. You're terrible. Stop.
Well, now you're just yelling at the man, which I feel is different than criticizing artwork.
Your art was awful.
Oh, that was not free pass to continue.
Everything that you have done is now, by extension, awful.
Please return the organs to the women in the comic that you stole them from. They need those to live.
Thank you.
Yes.
But no, there was some interesting stuff in there. I mean, the Shriek stuff was kind of cool. Carnage was cool for the first 30 seconds. Venom was interesting, and oddly enough, the moral majority of this somehow. I mean, if anybody had the right idea the entire time, it was Venom. And what does Venom do at the end? He tries to kill him, and it stops him.
He doesn't kill him. After Spider-Man being wishy-washy for like the whole thing, eventually he goes, "No, you can't kill Carnage," and Venom goes, "I guess I shouldn't." He was so determined.
But then he throws him into an electrical explosion.
Yeah, but he survived. He knew he was
knew, like, he was like, "Oh, I didn't kill him because Spider-Man said so, because he's obviously so decisive in his morals."
Look, if you want a good, there are there's gotta be good Spider-Man morality balances, pros and cons. Do I kill? Do I not? Like, every hero's got at least one or two of those. This was not the go-to one.
Also, the only other really glaring issue that I have here, and this is what keeps this from being any thumbs whatsoever, I feel like you could have just shot him. 'Cause they're not bulletproof, and there was police. And those police were exceptionally angry thanks to Shriek. Why did no one have guns?
There's some issues.
None of these people are bulletproof.
Are they bulletproof? I mean, I feel like...
I thought they were.
I don't believe so.
I thought the symbiotes made them.
But then I thought
have no
Carnage.
idea.
Then I thought Carnage
No, because
wasn't
they
a
can get
symbiote,
cut
so...
up and beaten and stuff like that. Like, if you
Yeah,
can
but
slash
the-
them, I'm pretty sure a
the
bullet.
pressure of a bullet versus the slicing, it's two different pressures.
I'm not,
but still.
also,
I don't know that. I assume that you could just shoot the...
Like, you
could shoot Doppelganger Spider-Man, you could shoot Carrion, you could shoot Shriek.
Well, okay,
You
but
could
by that
maybe
logic,
shoot Demo-Goblin.
by that logic, you could shoot most superhero things. I don't know.
Yes, I'm aware, but I don't know.
No.
No thumbs for a recommendation.
On what scale? You're doing the 0 to 2, right?
Yeah, I'm following your guys'
Okay,
scale.
thank you. I wanted to make sure we're at least
Zero.
consistent.
One
here.
thumb, two thumb, no thumbs. This is a no thumb book, but there is some redeeming things
Yes,
in there.
I mean,
it's
it's
not
like-
completely awful.
Yeah, I'm so wishy-washy because I'm somewhere between like 0 and 1.
Stop being Spider-Man.
I'm Spider-Man.
If I could pick a pinky up, maybe.
Yeah, I know,
somehow
like,
in
yeah.
there, that's
Like, if I
about
could
as
be
much
like-
of a thumb it needs.
There's a slightly redeeming quality. I really like the Cloak and Dagger stuff, and yeah, like some of the Shriek stuff with what's their faces with them. Everybody else was a little weird. I did it being a kid from the 90s. It was funny seeing all the stupid 90s references.
You know, the ones that made any relevant. I don't know. So much of this was irrelevant. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like the first one. This is probably the bottom.
it wasn't great. Doable, but wasn't great. And yet again, if you're looking for a Spider-Man book, just don't pick this one up first, because it's not... His parents exist. Like, it's like a big point of him as Spider-Man, so don't do that. Don't pick it up.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna coast this out, but before we do, we should announce next week's book.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, next week we are going to be reading the Valiant title, so it's an independent company, Valiant, Quantum and Woody. I'm gonna ask our co-host, are we reading Volume 1 and 2, or Volume 1?
Let's go just Volume 1, just
Okay.
for...
Keep it. Yeah, the little.
Okay. So
little
we're
palate
reading
cleanser.
Volume 1 of that, so that'll be, yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yeah. And you can follow along, using your series of tubes to find us at Facebook.
Whoa.
What'd I miss?
It's the internet. The interwebs. The web.
Oh.
And you missed
web.
out on
No!
this.
No!
How did you do
No!
Should
No!
I start that over?
No!
Or should I...
It's too late!
It's too late, you failed.
No!
Your one job, and by one job I mean
day,
multiple
sir.
jobs.
Oh, you could swing in on the web, but hopefully not the razor-barbed webbing of Doppelganger.
There you go.
To find us on
I mean,
Facebook.
it's too little too late, but thanks for at least trying. Oh, no!
You can follow us on Facebook, where we are as someone who doesn't read comics. You can watch our Twitter, where we are at I don't read comics.
Always comments.
The Spider-Man thing's got me thrown off. We're at I don't read comics. You can always send your questions, comments, concerns, problems, and razor webbing to idon'treadcomics@gmail.com.
Where we won't read them, apparently.
Apparently.
No, we'll read those.
I mean, I
'cause
guess
there's-
we'll read emails. They're not comments at that point.
Yeah. You should also send us a rating system.
Yeah, send us a rating system, or maybe you really do want to know about Spider-Man and a good Spider-Man book to start on. Recommend that we read find a good Spider-Man book. Whatever. Recommend us something to read, because right now we're just literally closing our eyes and throwing it at a dartboard type of thing.
But if you give us one, we'll swing into action.
Well, yeah, we'll do
Okay,
that.
now you're trying too hard.
Yeah, well.
My spider senses have been tingling that.
Yes. Well, thank you for watching.
And as always, the book was better.
Watching. You're listening. Whatever.
You said it!
No, I did. As soon as I said it, I was like,